Human cultures build up a lot of the stories they tell each other, their rituals, their religions and their science by thinking about light. Men of God declared light divine. Scientists bent it through glass to see to the depths of space and the minute interiors of cells. It seemed by understanding the truth about light, we would understand the truth about everything. But it turned out, and this is surely one of the great paradoxes of the light stories that we've been telling, it turned out that the more people could manipulate light, the more puzzling and tricky light turned out to be. And in the very same idea that light and truth go together, it turns out that a great deal of what light gives us is an illusion. In 1664, the great natural philosopher Isaac Newton performed his groundbreaking experiment showing that a prism can split white light into coloured rays. But above all, what Newton did with his prism was to set up a great challenge for future generations. He'd shown white light as a mixture of colours, but beyond that, he admitted to being completely mystified. Colour was light's last mystery. Understanding colour would be the key that would unlock the truth about light. And as it did, it would change everything. Science, art, and even our understanding of the human mind. The first step in this story into the heart of light needed one of the greatest upheavals in history. The Industrial Revolution began in the late 18th century textile mills of northwest England. People were forced to think about light, and particularly colour, in a new and urgent way. Controlling colour counted because the British market was being flooded by brightly coloured cloths from India, from Asia. British industrialists countered this flood with their own cloths and their own industrially manufactured dyes, standardising those colours, getting chemical control over how they were made, and then making sure they mixed tightly with the dyed cloth was the key to market success. Perhaps the most dramatic impact of the new colour industries was the way it changed folks' sense of what was natural, what was artificial. Colours which had previously been understood as matching natural objects, the blue of the sky, the green of grass, the red of the rose, could be made completely artificially. Artificial dyes revealed that many people didn't see a coloured cloth the same way as others did. For the first time, people realised there was a mystery about the way we see colour. It's inevitable that the puzzle of getting colour judgments systematically wrong appears precisely at the place and the time of mass colour industrialisation, northwest England at the end of the 18th century. The man who matters was John Dalton.
John Dalton, the gifted son of an impoverished weaver, threw himself into the new chemistry of the Industrial Revolution. He's best known now for proposing the atomic theory of matter, but his first scientific paper was based on his realization that there was something awry with his own colour perception.
Dalton, who was a Quaker, showed several signs of getting colour wrong or judging it badly. When he went to Quaker meetings, he would sometimes turn up dressed in the most inappropriately bright colours, in a red gown, not the sort of thing that a dour, solid Quaker citizen should be wearing.
For the first time in history, Dalton started to systematically analyse his own sense of colour. He went back to nature and to his childhood fascination with botany.
The bright pink flowers of clover seemed bright blue to him. The pink geranium, the pelargonium, seemed absolutely blue when he collected it outside. And then when he brought it into the house and looked at it by candlelight, it changed, strangely, from being blue to being yellow. Dalton meditated on this problem. Was it special to him? Dalton, who worked as a school teacher, asked his pupils whether they had the same problem. And it turned out that in a class of about 24, 4 or 5 boys suffered from exactly the same puzzle.
Dalton was the first person to identify and scientifically study colour blindness. Dalton himself thought it was caused by a physical property of the eye, and he came up with a gruesome way of testing this idea.
In Dalton's will, he instructed his medical advisor, Ransom, to take out one of his eyes and dissect it, because Dalton guessed that the reason for his colour blindness was that there was a blue liquid inside his eye. Ransom followed Dalton's will to the letter. He extracted one of the great man's eyeballs and cut it open. There was no blue liquid. Ransom instead describes the eyeball as pellucid. It let the light through perfectly. It showed no staining, no colour. There was no blue liquid inside. That couldn't be the explanation of Dalton's own colour blindness. Instead, and this was what was really suggestive, the problem must be to do with some kind of judgment, something more psychological, something between the brain and the back of the